Stop sleeping on yourself. Stop playing it small and stop feeling bad for outgrowing people. You are great. You know it. So embrace it. It is time for you to become the woman that you know that you are going to become. It is time for you to stop playing it small and start doing the action steps so you can start living it big. So in this video, that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about walking into the woman that you're going to be, because the only difference between the current you and the future her are your habits, and you already know that. So in this video, I want to give you a few habits that you are already going to start doing when you become the woman that you truly want to be. So let's get straight into it. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is something called social accountability leverage. This is essentially where you use the eyes, the perception, and even sometimes the presence of other individuals to stay disciplined. The problem why a lot of people don't do this is because in a lot of unsuccessful communities, in my opinion, they talk down on this. And let me explain to you why. Now, an example of social accountability leverage is something such as you joining a run club. You know you're not consistent with running. You know you want to start working out. But you know when you wake up in the morning, you kind of tell yourself, maybe I could sleep in. This causes, first and foremost, you paid to be in here. So now there's like this kind of pay that you did for it. But then also you're around a group of individuals. That's a social aspect of it. A group of individuals that if you don't come this week, but then you try to come next week, they can be like, where were you last week? Why weren't you here? A group of individuals that you're in a group chat with. A group of individuals, i.e., that are going to keep you accountable socially. Another aspect of it might be you opening up a business. You keep saying you want to do it. You keep saying you want to do it. And then you finally post on social media or you tell a large group of people, I'm opening my business May 3rd, 2026. And so now people are expecting you to do that. A week before, people are going to be asking you,
so what time are you going to be releasing it? So when should I show up? So when I...
It keeps you accountable, because if you didn't tell anyone about that thing, that date could have rolled over and no one would have knew and no one would have expected it from you. So it would have caused you to be less disciplined when doing that thing and or starting that thing. Now, a big reason why a lot of unsuccessful people do not use social accountability leverage is for two reasons, because it's shunned. First and foremost, in a lot of unsuccessful communities, honestly, in my opinion, with a lot of unsuccessful people, and disclaimer, when I say unsuccessful, it's not always when it comes to money. That is a big thing too, but also mindset. First and foremost, there's this thing of saying, I'm self-made. I got to do everything by myself. A big thing that successful people know is, first and foremost, the larger your group is, the farther that you get. And when I say your group, it doesn't even mean, oh, buddy. It doesn't mean you have to have a big friend group and you got to, rub shoulders with everybody. But it means if you want to call on the best person to design a website, you got that person on call. You want to call the best person to help you get designs for your new clothing brand, you have somebody to call. Successful people understand the power of a network. And that's why, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar or not, successful people pay tens of thousands of dollars a month, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, to essentially be a part of groups. And they have one called like the Soho House, even though there's been a lot of stuff with that lately, but there's different houses that they have, or like groups. And it's more of an elitist thing because they pay a lot of money to be in there. But from the outside looking in, it looks like, why would I pay tens of thousands of dollars to be around other people? Or why would I pay, $100,000? And this is on a monthly basis for a lot of these things, to be around other individuals, because they are around the best. So anytime they want and or need something, they're around the best. Also, it keeps them disciplined and it keeps them motivated because they're hearing about these large business deals being done. They hear about all these big things. It motivates them. But a big thing that, like I said, going into the whole discipline part of it, a lot of unsuccessful people think they have to force themselves to be disciplined. I have to force myself to do it. I have to wake up in the morning even when I don't want to do it. And they don't understand, a lot of these successful people use social leverage. They surround themselves with individuals who are doing what they want to do and or where they want to be in so many different categories. And I know I did use like a $10,000 a month club or whatever, but you could be part of a run club and do this. You could be a part of a Pilates studio, a bar studio, or something like that, where there's a certain level of accountability, whether it's with money, whether it's with essentially, people sending in a group chat, people hitting you up, hey girl, we're supposed to do this. Stop forcing yourself to have to do all this discipline by yourself. And I look at it as, I think a lot of unsuccessful people make the route to success harder on themselves because they assume it's hard. They assume the only reason why I'm not there is because it's so hard. But it's like, maybe a big reason why you're not there is that you're making it harder on yourself by forcing yourself to do everything by yourself. The part two of it that a lot of unsuccessful people shun is telling your business. And a lot of unsuccessful, I just feel like, and I keep saying communities, and disclaimer, I don't want anybody to feel bad because statistically speaking, I come from an unsuccessful community and upbringing, but these are also things that I've heard. And so that's why I feel like I understand it. It's a thing of keeping everything to yourself. Don't tell nobody your business. Because sometimes it's a crab in a barrel bucket type mentality. I don't want to tell this person this because they might take it from me. And I barely have anything myself. Successful women know what and what not to share. It's an art to it. You cannot keep everything to yourself. It's actually power in being able to tell people certain stuff, but tell them just enough for them to know, or tell them just enough for you to leverage it for social accountability, but in a sense, not put everybody directly in your business. And that's why I use the example of telling people you're coming out with a business. You don't have to tell them your business plan. Sometimes you don't even got to tell them your business colors, but in a sense of you're telling individuals there's this expectation of it. And if you don't do it, it's going to hurt your ego a bit. It's going to make you feel like that's what it's supposed to do. So you're disciplined. So you do what you say you're going to do. But I think that's two reasons why a lot of unsuccessful people do not use social accountability leverage is because first and foremost, they think you can't tell nobody nothing. No, it's actually good to a certain extent, because also too, if you really know you're going to do this thing, where's the problem in telling people I'm going to the gym every single Monday for the next 6 months? Because part of you doesn't even trust you to do it. That's the real math or whole thing behind it. It's not them. It's easy to say, I don't want to let people in my business. I don't want to tell people this, tell people that. You and your heart of hearts is like, I'm really about to do this thing. I'm really about to commit to this thing. What's the harm in telling people? Unless you are afraid of you not doing it and letting other people down, that presence, that expectation down. And so there's that. But then, like I also said, just making life harder for yourself and thinking you have to do everything by yourself and you can't rely on people and you have to keep discipline. Like, no, successful people use other successful people to help them all the time. The next one is you are accountable for your perception of life. Now, I also do often say things such as you are responsible for where you are in life and it's your responsibility to change your circumstances to a certain understand. Yes. But at the same time, I do understand there are some individuals who possibly were born with certain disabilities. There are some individuals who were born in certain neighborhoods, and it makes them feel like they're a couple steps behind contrary to other people. And I guess you can say that, especially like in your foundation years, there's certain things you didn't learn. There's certain things you didn't get to experience that other people did that changed their entire perception and changed their life at a young age. But once you get to a certain age, honestly, once you become an adult, everybody want to be grown and say they grown. Okay, you're grown. Now it's your responsibility for your perception of where you are, not always where you are. And this is so important to understand during your growing phase, because if you perceive your life to be what it currently is now, you're never going to get higher. If you perceive your life as being messed up, I don't work a good paying job, I don't like my body, all these other things, my life messed up. How do you even think that you're going to think your way out of this? If you can tell yourself, I'm not where I want to be, but that doesn't mean that I can't get to where I want to be. That does not mean that life is over for me. Like the simple fact that I can wake up in the morning and I can breathe, the simple fact that I can watch videos like this means I have the opportunity to change. There's so many people that will tell you so many reasons why, and no shade to anyone, but so many people comment under my videos. I'll make a whole video talking about how to change your life and how to do this thing and that thing. And people will literally find the smallest nitpick. Oh, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of that. I can't change my life. You're commenting under a video. Might I add my videos sometimes be 45, 50 minutes. Y'all know. So you had that time period to watch the video. You have the cognitive ability to come up with your own perception of this video. You can change your life. But those same individuals who had that same opportunity don't see it as an opportunity because their perception of their life is, I went through this, I lived through this, I experienced that, so I can't change my life. But if I didn't, see, but there's always a but. There's always a, but if I didn't, I would be able to have a different life. If I didn't, I would be able to have my dream. It's all based on your perception. Reality is, maybe by this time next year, you're not going to be a millionaire. Maybe by this time next year, you're not going to lose 150 pounds. But maybe by this time next year, you can learn the necessary steps to get out of your financial situation. Maybe by this time next year, you could be down 50 pounds, or you can learn how to be healthy, whatever the case may be. But successful women take accountability of their perception, because you got to think about it. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to go through a lot of failures. There's a lot of things that's going to happen to you that you're not going to like, that you're not going to enjoy. Things that you thought were going to go great are not. But if you have a messed up perception, it's like, this is not fair where I'm at in life, and my life is bad. If one business failed, you're never going to start another one. If one project don't go well, you're never going to start another one. Why? Because you look at your life based on what's going on. You have to understand it's your ability to create your perception of what's going on. Your perception is your reality. So you've perceived your life to be bad, it's going to be bad. You're not going to see any opportunities. It's never going to be good. And until you can say where I'm at now is not where I'm going to be for the rest of my life, only changes when you change your perception of where you are now. So also I want you to ask yourself, where are you now? If somebody was to ask you mentally, where are you now? Be honest. The mindset that you have, do you think that's going to get you closer or farther to the woman that you want to be? The next one is self-imposed friction. Essentially when you make it harder to do the easy things that are getting you where you don't want to be. You self-impose, you choose to say, I'm making this situation hard, because you understand the harder something is, the more likely you are not to do it. So an easy example can be essentially you turning off your social media notifications. So you're not notified every single time somebody like a picture, every single time somebody shares something with you. If you're saying I'm constantly on my phone. A big one with eating. I'm very disciplined when it comes to my healthy habits. I've been like that for a while now. And it's easy for me to do it because when I go to the grocery store, I don't buy BS. It's harder to not eat cookies when the cookies are in your pantry than it is to not eat cookies when they are in the store. Make self-imposed friction. If there's something that you keep doing and it's hard for you to stop that thing, stop getting mad at yourself and convincing yourself you're weak, it's something wrong with you because you keep doing that thing. Maybe you're doing that thing because it's easier than not doing that thing. You're hanging around certain people that have a certain habit. Maybe you need to stop. Make it harder on you to not do the things that you know you're not supposed to do. But that's definitely something I've learned a lot of successful women do, especially on a, macro level, like really big. But yeah, self-imposed friction. I make things that are bad for me harder to do because it makes you be like, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to, sometimes late night, I be wanting cookies, I be wanting chips, but then I'm really like, do I really want to get out the car? Go to the car, drive to the store. I really don't want to do that. So that's definitely something I would recommend to start doing. The next one is micro celebrations instead of waiting for big wins. Now, in a lot of books, especially like Atomic Habits and different things like that, they talk about rewarding yourself, kind of like a reward loop. This is not necessarily that. And I know some people hear that a lot, but this is you doing mini celebrations instead of waiting for big wins. This is because we tell ourselves, I want to go to the gym every single week for a month. We do it. And then on the 5th week, we don't do it. And then we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't go for, 5 weeks. You told yourself you wanted to go for a month. That's a win for you. The problem is we wait for the big wins, but we have so many big wins in our life. How many times can you graduate? How many times can you lose your first 50 pounds? How many times are you going to get a promotion within a certain amount of time? And a problem with that is too, we move the goalposts. When you do not celebrate your wins, you subconsciously forget that it was even a win. You subconsciously forget that this was something that you even wanted to do. The difference, in my opinion, between mini celebrations and rewards, mini celebrations are things that are still long out. You're not going to mini celebrate because you're like, I went to the gym today. You might reward yourself like a reward loop, which is a little bit different. But I look at a mini celebration as like I'm getting myself a little cake from like Walmart or something, or like Whole Foods. Must be healthy. Well, it's still cake. Anyways, essentially, it's something that's a little bit more drawn out, but it's also not you waiting for the final thing. So maybe something takes you a year and every single quarter you have a mini celebration. Maybe happy. It depends how you do it, but essentially something that tells you, hey, you're still going. Something that tells you, stop moving the goalpost. This is something that you wanted to do. And it also gets you to stop only celebrating the big stuff, because the big stuff only comes every so often. You still need to celebrate when you went to class this entire month and you were having the most depressing, horrible month in your life. Mini celebration. You need to have a mini celebration when you thought you're going to quit this thing. And maybe you did even quit once or twice, but then you got back on the horse and you did it. Mini celebration. But then make it actual things, like have a little cake, go out to drinks with your friends. Like have something, like I said, that's a mini celebration, and not necessarily always. I get the reward thing if you're familiar with like I said, Atomic Habits and stuff. I have videos on that, helping reward yourself. But many celebrations are for a little bit more drawn out, but it's not you having to fully complete something, but just rewarding yourself for honestly showing up and just sometimes being alive. The next one is being hyper aware of the frictions in your life. So early in the video, I did talk about essentially self-imposed frictions, but also there are some frictions in your life that maybe aren't always self-imposed necessarily, but it's about being aware of them. A lot of people I noticed aren't honest with themselves. And I'm very, very big on honesty because I want people to learn you have the ability to make a choice. So many people, in my opinion, are stuck in life because they feel like they don't have a choice. I don't have a choice to do this. I don't have a choice. You make choices every single day. And I would even say create a list. Create a list and become hyper aware of the frictions in your life, because that's what successful women do. They're so aware of the things that's holding them back, whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, and they understand if they choose to do that thing, what comes with doing that thing. But I know so many people that's like scared to move in life and scared to progress, and especially when it comes to money, especially when you're not used to having money. I think a lot of people hoard it. Like, oh my gosh, what if I lose it? What if I lose it? I just told you, these successful women, these millionaire women spend tens of thousands, $100,000 sometimes a year, even sometimes a month, to go to workshops. Oh, they're called masterminds, but to also be a part of committees and all these other kind of houses and all this other things, because they understand the power of investment. They understand that they have to invest in themselves to get to where they want to be. But I know so many other people that make 1/100th of what these people make. And they're afraid of stop buying stuff that they know that's not good for them. But it's because they're not hyper aware that that thing's not good for them. They're not aware that that thing, every time you buy that thing, whatever it may be, it can be some kind of drink, as we know, some kind of other things. We spend so much money on BS. It is, when I say that, I don't always want people to think I'm talking about like the D word, Uggs, and stuff like that. But sometimes too, why do you have 20 Stanley cups? Like you're over here talking about, oh, I can't invest in myself and I can't. You literally have 5 different kind of Stanley cups. You literally have 5 different type of tumbler cups. You literally have, why do you need that many pair of Uggs? Like there's so many things, but the problem is if you're not hyper aware of your friction, if a friction in your life is something that's holding you back in life, is finances, you need to be aware of everywhere in your life that finances are not helping you, where they're pushing out. If you're trying to get somewhere physically, you need to be very hyper aware. What am I eating? There's so many people I know who aren't where they want to be physically. And I look sometimes at certain people's eating habits and I'm like, you just told me that you wanted like, but you're eating this and you're drinking that and you're like, but I think a lot of people aren't aware you have a choice and you're making a choice to sometimes stay in your situation and make it worse because you haven't allowed yourself essentially to become hyper aware of the frictions in your life. And you can do that by category. You can do that by where you want to be in life. But successful women are hyper, like they know sometimes to the T, That's why sometimes they can go out and eat a certain amount because they know how many carbs they can go over based on a certain goal. They can spend a certain amount of money because they know how much money they can't go over. They're hyper aware of their frictions. They're hyper aware of what holds them back in life. So it makes them hyper aware on the flip side of what helps them progress in life. And the final one is deliberate boredom tolerance. I think it's so important for you to start forcing yourself to be bored. Like, successful people deliberately force themselves to be bored. A great example of this is the creator of Microsoft, Bill Gates. And a lot of successful people have done this before. And he's just the best example I can use. I know we're talking about women, but he goes on a retreat, I believe, every year for a couple days or a week. No, I think about a week or something like that, where he's like in a cabin and he's by himself. And he always says that's when he comes up with his best ideas. This is because you have to understand we are always on our phones. Our energy is literally always being sucked out of us, that it hurts us mentally to be bored. People can't use the bathroom without being on their phone. They can't cook without being on their phone. People can't even watch their kids without being on their phone at the park. Their kid on a swing, they pushing the kid.
Girl, you is crazy.
Successful women know how imperative it is for them to be bored, because successful individuals know that's when they come up with the best ideas. You can't come up with your own ideas. You can't even come up with your own rationings for things, because constantly you're hearing other people's opinions and other people's voices and other people. Why do you think sometimes we come up? You ever notice in the shower, you sometimes just think of the most craziest things, or right before you go to bed at night, once you finally get off your phone, at night, you just think of like some of the best things. It's like, I want to change my life. I want to do this. It's not a surprise. It's because your brain can finally rest and it can just be like, just us, right? That's what successful people do. They have deliberate boredom tolerance. They deliberately say, between this time and this time, I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm just going to sit down. And a lot of people don't do it. Why? Because it's boring. But they understand the power of being bored, and they understand the power of what they can do with that boredom. Some of the best ideas come from being bored, come from not thinking of other people's opinions and what people want to think. And that's why I said Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, does that every single year. And so many other successful people do it, but they allow themselves to be bored, and they do it on purpose. Like, I'm purposely forcing myself to be bored. It's not accidental. It's not, oh, my phone died. Oh, I don't have internet. No, I'm forcing myself because I know the power of boredom, and I know how imperative it is for me to be powerful. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please comment below anything that you learned from this video. And what was your best, or your favorite, I should say. What was your favorite one for this video? Thank you guys so much. If you are or aren't aware, I'm currently doing the preseason for my 90-day challenge. So starting September 25th, I am doing a 90-day challenge that will end December 24th, which is the day before Christmas, because I feel like you should celebrate your final day right on Christmas. So the way the challenge works is, for 90 days, I have an intro video, which you can find on my page. If you guys want to, I can also put it in the comment section below. But every single week, I'm going to come out with videos that are going to talk about how to get closer to essentially figuring out what you want to do during the 90 days. Everybody likes saying, let's start this day, let's start that day. But the problem that I realize a lot of people mess up on, you don't have a preseason. You didn't prepare. You don't know the goals you want for yourself. You don't know the things that are going to hold you back. You don't know so many other things. So this video wasn't specifically for the 90-day. I have an entire playlist, but with the 2 videos that I come out with every single week, one of them is going to be specifically for the preseason. So by the time the 90-day starts, you've already figured out what your goals are. You've already figured out what's going to hold you back. You've experimented a bit, so on and so forth. So if you're really serious about changing your life for 2026, you're really serious about becoming a new version of yourself, I definitely recommend to go below and sign up for my newsletter so that you are sent the weekly access to everything that's going on with that. And then also at the end of all my videos for the preseason, you are given worksheets. So everything I say in the videos, you can write down yourself. But thank you guys so much. I hope that you have a great one. And another thing, if you do want to be part of the challenge, actually comment below 90. Comment 90 in the comment sections, and I will specifically send you a link to the video so you don't have to worry about that. But also, if you guys like the audio version only, of course, as you guys know, I do have a podcast that comes out every Tuesday. Definitely follow me on TikTok. I'm going to start posting on there. Follow my newsletter. And I believe that's all. So thank you guys so much, and y'all have a great one.